In our macroscopic world, we are surrounded by objects that have many parts. Refrigerators, cameras, bicycles, airplanes, libraries, cities. Do these objects integrate their parts and constitute wholes? Why or why not? Welcome to week 7, which is dedicated to this special composition question. Take, for instance, the 4 strings, the end pin, and all the other objects there. Together, these objects compose a further object, an instrument, a cello. But at least at face value, not every combination of things constitutes a further thing. Look at all the different things in this room. Whether or not they nicely fit together is not the issue now. The question is rather, do they compose a further composite object? Do they, like the cello, really come together to form a unified whole? And if not, what then is the difference exactly between the cello and the rest of the room? Is it a difference in principle or rather a gradual one? More generally, what individually necessary and jointly sufficient conditions must X's satisfy for there to be an object Y, such that Y is composed of those X's? When does unity arise from plurality? Or in a more practical formulation of the philosopher who first raised the special composition question, Peter van Inwagen, quote, suppose one had certain non-overlapping objects, the X's, at one's disposal. What would one have to do? What could one do to get the X's to compose something? Unquote. In the rest of this week, we'll consider several answers and several kinds of answers to the special composition question. On the one hand, moderate answers, and on the other hand, far more common among metaphysicians, extreme answers. To be able to grasp and evaluate these answers, we need to introduce some technical mereological terminology. Mereology being the study of parts and wholes, from the Greek merios, or part. A mereological sum or mereological fusion of some objects x1, x2 and so on is a further object y that contains x1, x2 and so on as parts. As proper parts, we must add, since strictly speaking every object is a part of itself. So x is a proper part of y if and only if x is a part of y and x is not identical to y. Furthermore, most philosophers believe that there are simples or mereological atoms, that is, objects that lack any proper parts. So an answer to the special composition question will tell us what it takes for any things whatsoever to compose something, to constitute a mereological sum or fusion, whether those objects are mereological simples or mereologically complex objects that are composed by objects other than themselves. We'll consider the moderate answers, including van Inwagen's own proposal, in the next clip, and the extreme answers in the third and final clip of this week. But before doing so, allow me to make a final point. Some of you may already be or become suspicious that the special composition question is not a genuine disagreement about the nature of the world, and that it's rather a debate about how to use language. More specifically, when to call something that has parts, proper parts, an object, a composite object. This is not what the metaphysicians who participate in the debate believe. In the rest of this week, we will be assuming as well that the special composition question is a genuine ontological question, and that methodological tools that are widely accepted in ontology, such as reduction and paraphrase, may very well be used in answering it. My advice to those of you who are already or may become suspicious is to keep an open mind and to evaluate the arguments for or against certain answers as arguments for accepting the special composition question as a genuine ontological question. If you do that, you may surprise yourself. Perhaps you will even find yourself adopting one of the extreme answers.